Rule number 1 on subject-verb agreement is the general rule that governs all other rules. A singular subject must have a singular verb. A plural subject must have a plural verb. Take note that making your verb agree with its subject can be challenging if you don't know how to identify the subject and you don't know how to determine its number. Kevin always comes to class late. Kelvin is the subject in the sentence, which is singular. Therefore, you must take singular verb. And the verb in the sentence here is the word comes. Jenny was watching volleyball. The subject in the sentence is Jenny, which is singular. That's why you have the singular verb was watching. The twins always come to class late. Let's identify the subject in the sentence. The subject is twins, which is plural. That's why we have the verb come. They were watching volleyball. So the subject in the sentence here is they, which is plural. That's why we have the verb were watching, which is also plural. A phrase or a clause that interrupts a subject and its verb does not affect the subject-verb agreement. The leader of the team stands with pride. In the sentence, the subject is leader, and it is singular. And the verb is stands, which is also singular. And what about the words that come between the subject and the verb? It is actually a phrase that comes between the subject and the verb. And this should not affect the agreement of the subject and the verb. Her father, who stands beside him, speaks with pride. Now, this sentence actually has a clause that comes between the subject and its verb. The subject is father and the verb is speaks. So father is singular, speaks is singular. Two or more singular subjects joined by or nor must have a singular verb. Now, what do we mean by compound subject? Compound subject is a subject with more than one noun or pronoun. Let's have these examples. Ern or Florence is going to win. So the compound subject is Ern, Florence, and they are both joined by the conjunction or. Take note, they are both singular. Therefore, you must take singular verb. Joy or I walk to the gym every day. So the compound subject in the sentence is joy, which is singular, and we also have I, which is also singular. So the compound subject in the sentence, joy, I, which are both singular and they are joined by or. Therefore, we must take singular verb. Two or more plural subjects joined by or nor must have a plural verb. The girls or the boys are going to win. So notice that the compound subject, girls, boys, are both plural and they are joined by the conjunction or. The compound subject is composed of two plural nouns. Therefore, you must take plural verb. If one or more singular subjects are joined to one or more plural subjects by or nor, the subject nearest to the verb determines the agreement. Earn or the twins are going to win. So the nearest subject to the verb is twins. Therefore, the verb must agree with it. Either the twins or Florence is going to win. So the nearest subject to the verb is Florence, which is singular. Therefore, you must take singular verb. A compound subject joined by and is generally plural and must take a plural verb. Let's have these examples. Curry and Thompson play basketball. Second sentence. The girls and boys play basketball. And the third sentence. The twins and Michael play basketball. Notice that the compound subject in the first sentence is composed of two singular subjects. And in number 2 sentence, the compound subject is composed of two plural subjects. And the third one is a combination of plural and singular subjects. Regardless of the composition of your compound subject, as long as they are joined by and, generally, you must take plural verb. However, there are exceptions to the preceding rule, which I'm going to discuss in my next video. A compound subject joined by and is generally plural and must have a plural verb. However, there are exceptions to the preceding rule. If the parts of the compound subject are thought of as one item, then a singular verb is required. For example, puto and dinuguan is my favorite. So puto and dinuguan in the sentence is considered as one item. Therefore, it must take singular verb. The next exception to the rule, a singular subject is required if the compound subject joined by and is preceded by the word each or by the word every. Every girl and boy in the class cleans the room. So the compound subject girl and boy is preceded by the word every. Therefore, you must say singular verb. That's why the verb in the sentence is cleans. A subject that comes after its verb must still agree with it in number. There are cases that the subject in the sentence is hard to find. For example, on the top of the mountain are the two hikers. This sentence is actually an example of an inverted sentence. And what do we mean by inverted sentence? It means that the subject comes after the verb. So if we're going to rearrange the words, the sentence would become, the two hikers are on the top of the mountain. So in this case, it is easier for you to identify the subject in the sentence. And what is the subject? Of course, the word hikers. So hikers is plural, therefore the verb must be plural also. Another example of inverted sentence is if the sentence begins with the word here or there. There is my mother. So we are going to rearrange the words, then it will become my mother is there. So it is easier for us to identify the subject in the sentence once it is rearranged this way. So the subject in the sentence is mother, which is singular, therefore you must take singular verb. A collective noun takes a singular verb when the group it names acts as a single unit. However, it takes plural verb when the group it names acts as individuals with different points of view. The Adams family plans to go to Boracay this summer. The collective noun family requires singular verb because it is acting as one group or one unit, meaning all of the members of the family have the same plan, and that is to go to Boracay this summer. Therefore, you must take singular verb. Next example. The family have not yet decided which place to visit this summer. So the collective noun family requires plural verb because this refers to the individual members of the family who have different ideas. Singular indefinite pronouns take singular verbs. When we say indefinite pronouns, they are pronouns that do not refer to any specific person, thing, or amount. Now, what are examples of indefinite pronouns that are always singular? So we have another, anybody, anyone, anything, each, either, everybody, everyone, everything, little, much, nobody, no one, other, somebody, someone, and something. Let's have the following examples. One of the paintings is missing. So one is the subject in a sentence, which is an example of an indefinite pronoun, which means that you take singular verb. Another sentence, we have everyone in the class has finished writing. So everyone is the subject and it is always singular. Therefore, you must take singular verb. And the third, either of your plans is favorable to me. Either is always singular indefinite pronoun. Therefore, you must take singular verb. Plural indefinite pronouns take plural verbs. Now, what are the examples of plural indefinite pronouns? Or should I say, indefinite pronouns that are always plural. So there are only 5 of them. And these are both, few, many, several, and others. Now let's have these sentences. Few of the students were late yesterday. So the subject in the sentence is few, which is always plural indefinite pronoun. Therefore, you must take plural verb. Another example is several of the victims have suffered during the typhoon. So the subject in the sentence here is several, which is always plural. Therefore, you must take plural verb. If there are indefinite pronouns that are always singular, that are always plural, there are also indefinite pronouns that can either be singular or plural depending on how they are used in sentences. So what are these indefinite pronouns? So these are the words all, any, most, more, none, and some. Now let's have these examples. All of my sisters are beautiful. So all is an indefinite pronoun that functions as a subject in the sentence. And all takes plural verb because the antecedent of the indefinite pronoun all is the word sisters, which is plural. Another example is, some of the cake was eaten. Why is it that the verb used in the sentence is was? It's because the antecedent of the indefinite pronoun some, which functions as a subject in the sentence, is the word cake, which is singular.